In a few of my videos, I mentioned the benefits of stop removal, but I never went too deep into the topic. Well, now I'm going to. In this video, I explain the benefits and downsides of stop removal, and where I think it could work in the subway system. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. Once many people hear of the name stop removal, they immediately think of their home station being removed and end up disapproving of the proposal. But what if I told you that stop removal isn't the end of the world? It can actually be a very good thing in certain instances. The New York City subway system is a very old one. The first real subway lines were constructed by the IRT and opened in 1904. Back then, over a century ago, the IRT, or A Division as we call it now, but you all may know it as the numbered lines, used to run shorter trains, generally around a length of 5 cars. This was acceptable, mainly due to the lower ridership the subway saw at the time. With trains not being too long, stations could be smaller and also spaced fairly close to each other. Throughout the years though, as ridership increased throughout the subway as a whole, the IRT's trains and stations were extended, and since many were already close to each other, some of them became too close. This caused the closure of some stations on the IRT 7th and Lexington Avenue lines. Stations like Worth Street, 18th Street, and 91st Street were all closed due to their proximity to other stations. Not all stations which were in close proximity of each other were closed, however, and to this day we still have some stations that are spaced only 4 to 5 blocks away from others. Now you may be asking, well, what's the issue with that? The issue is 4 to 5 blocks is within the range of how close bus stops should be spaced, not subway stations. Subways are meant to be faster than normal vehicular transit, especially buses. So having 3 stations within 10 blocks onto one line just isn't that logical. Closely spaced stations can affect train speeds, causing them to be slower because of the frequent stops. With this being said, even though I support the removal of some stations to speed up trains, not all stations which are spaced closely to others should be removed, as they do help relieve some congestion off others. Manhattan is just about fine where it is when it comes down to stop spacing. While many of the IRT stations are close to each other, as I've said before, some help relieve congestion off others. Stations like 18th Street, 7th Avenue, and 110th Street, Lexington Avenue can be removed. However, others such as 23rd on the 6 or 79th on the 1 can stay, as they prevent some of the close hub stations from becoming too congested. Stop removal mostly comes into play in the outer boroughs, where stations typically see lower ridership. While this is the case, we still need to think about what the consequences of removing a stop could be on other stations in the area, and what connections to other transportation services would be disrupted. While a station like Zariga Avenue on the 6 could be easily removed due to its proximity to Castle Hill Avenue and the fact that it has no bus connections, a station like Intervale Avenue on the 2 and 5 might have more of a reason to stay, despite its low ridership, because of the connection to the BX6 Select Bus service 2 blocks away. All of these stations being so close are again remnants of the IRT's original train length and ridership, which is also why you don't usually see bad stop spacing like this in the IND subway. As a result of their longer trains and bigger stations, the IND has far stop spacing, usually about every 10 blocks in Manhattan. Even in the outer boroughs, stops are spaced far, and it seems like we'll continue that trend into the future if the 2nd Avenue subway is anything to go by. So, do I support stop removal? Yes, but only in certain places, and only if the station doesn't serve a vital connection or area. What are your thoughts on stop consolidation? I know it can be a pretty controversial topic, but I do feel like it would be helpful in certain areas. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and consider supporting me via channel memberships or super thanks. Special thanks to Stuart Guberman for supporting me at the Train Service Supervisor tier, and Daniel Green for supporting me at the 2 Broadway tier.